Alright guys, how you going? So Mason Corby from Downunder Dynamics here, and my good mate over here, Mr. Danny Helmy. Today we're going to go over a couple things just about some suits. So we're going to talk just about a variety of different kinds of suits, pros, cons, if you're beginning, what you should try and buy, what you should look out for. We have pretty much, we have a lot of designers here. We don't have all of them. We are missing the vertical suits, okay? I'll try and give as much of a non-bias reference as I can. I just do want to state that I am sponsored by Deem. Okay, I have also been by Tonfly, and I also have been by Boogeyman as well before. I'm not going to get into why I have picked Deem over the other guys at the moment. That's a personal preference. So today I'm just going to talk about just the generality of the suits themselves, pros, cons, and as I said, what you should and shouldn't look out for. Cool, so at the moment I've divided the suits. If we can switch to this one, you'll see that I have divided the suits up into 3 different categories. Okay, so we have, these are semi-baggy suits here. These are tight suits, okay? Also people will use these for tunnel suits, but not necessarily only for tunnel. You can use both for tunnel and both for sky. And then we have some shorties and a camera suit here as well. So where do you reckon we should start, Helms?
Yep.
Let's go over these ones, eh?
You've got the Deem crank.
The Deem crank here, cool. So these are the crank suits. So
what are they used for, these ones?
These for everything. You can do them for tunnel, for sky. So all these suits here that we can see, they're quite a baggy fit. Okay, so the main thing that I want to talk about is the similarities between the one that Helmy's holding at the moment. This is a Deem crank. This is a Sonic Indoor Ultimate Indoor Tunnel Pro, or what's it called?
The V3.
The V3, okay. This is the Boogeyman Indoor Pro. This is also a Boogeyman Indoor Pro. This is Deem's latest Crux suit. This is an old Matter suit, okay, so a lot of other suits. The old Matters are like this, the air suits, and this is an Intrude air suit. You'll see here the Tonfly, one of the old school Tonfly suits, and then we have a Phantom suit. So also similar to this Phantom suit was the old Oregon suits, and as I said, we're missing vertical suits that I know of as well that are quite similar to these. The vertical suits are a bit more similar to these two, the Boogeymans, okay? So these older ones, you'll see here, maybe just put it down so we can see in the light. You're all right, mate. So what we're gonna see here is we're gonna see these zips. Okay, so these are the things you wanna watch out for. Okay, so these ones can break pretty easily just because they're a bit fragile, but you'll see the material of them, okay? So this breathable material is actually quite good, right? You don't really want the material that's gonna inflate like the Rel suits. When you get the Rel suits, what happens with those, they're quite slippery, so they do make you fall fast if they are a fitted suit. But if they are baggy, they actually inflate like a balloon, okay? So you're gonna see over here as well, the Sonic ones. You can even hear that. So you can hear the difference in those compared to the difference in this.
This is just like the old school cotton.
Okay, the old school cotton. We've actually started going back to these. So the cotton, the reason is because they don't inflate. It allows the air to pass through it, and it doesn't inflate and pull you out of position. I'll talk later on about the difference between tight and baggy and why we have moved to tight. But if you are a beginner, I do suggest getting one of these baggy suits that you can see around here. So here's also another the porous one, the inflating one that we can see. You can hear that difference, okay? So the big difference is you want a suit with the same material all over. That's why these old school Matter ones, they're actually not too bad, because you can see here, same material, same material, same material. There's not much difference. The big thing with these old suits that they did have an issue with was these spandex. Now, if we look here, if you want to just give that a stretch, Helms, see how much that stretches. Because that stretches heaps, and this one doesn't, this is going to be a very big wear point, so you're going to go through that pretty quick. It does help if you're in the plane, all right? It's not too bad because you can sit down.
More comfortable.
Yeah, more comfortable, you've got a rig on. But if you're going to use this with the tunnel, it's probably not going to last that long. It is going to destroy pretty quickly. So you probably want to avoid getting one of these suits if you're going to be doing a lot of tunnel. If you're beginning out and it's just for skydiving, you probably can get away with it. If it's for an app student or your first suit, you probably can get away with this. Also the cuffs that Helmy's showing at the moment, they go around the ankles, and what it does is it locks off the ankle so the air doesn't get in. But you can see here, because of this design, air is going to get in through this part, and it's going to inflate and it's going to pull your leg around. It's going to make it a lot harder to sit fly if you're sit flying or something like that. So you want to try and think about having the same material all over the entire suit and the same type of bag. If it's really baggy, like you can see the fit of the suit here, kind of goes really big to really small. So that's why a lot of the fitted suits are much better, because they're designed for yourself, but they're also going to be costing a lot more money to buy. So for a first time beginner suit, if you're doing flat or tracking or something like that.
How much one of these going to cost me?
Roughly. What do you reckon about anywhere from like?
You can pick one up for $50.
Yeah, pick one up for $50. Like really, I wouldn't pay more than $200 or $150 for one of these, to be honest, these days.
Warm? Or is it going to be hot?
It's going to be warm.
This one's going to be a warmer.
Yeah, in the summer it's going to be pretty warm, because you can see the thickness of it. Okay, so down like in cooler conditions, it's going to be pretty fine. You can also, if it's a winter suit, this can be really good for a winter suit, because you can put clothes under it. Dress for success. Suits are really good.
Can't I go like this?
Yeah, we'll get onto that one soon. Yeah,
another video.
That's another. That's we'll get onto that when we get onto the shorties, I reckon.
I thought I was.
Yeah, we'll get on that with the shorties.
So let's find me a suit. Which one?
All right. So these ones as well. You can see this is very similar to this matter one, but you can see the material is actually a little bit thinner.
Oh, it's heaps thinner.
What they've got here on the inside, compared to this one on the inside, I'd actually prefer this matter one over this, because this here you have extra material in. It's going to get rid of a bit of sweat and stuff like that. But from what I find with these no offense to Intruder, sorry if I'm bagging these a bit, but the fit doesn't last. It's not so crash hot. I honestly have not seen a Intruder suit that fits people.
What's this one? Ton Flight?
Intruder.
Yeah,
Intruder, these ones. So I haven't really seen one that actually fits someone quite good. And you can see here, there's a whole heap of Cordura on the leg, and the reason we want to try and stay away from massive amounts of Cordura next to a massive amounts of spandex is because this is a heavier material with a lighter material. It's going to give you a different kind of flying surface area. So this is going to flap and catch a lot more drag, or cause, sorry, I hate the word catch, but cause a lot more drag, and you're going to feel more pulling and tension on the legs compared to, say, something with the same material everywhere. So this is the same material. It's going to affect you a lot less sit flying and flying compared to this one that has heavy Cordura with nothing down the bottom, or less down the bottom and less up the top.
Is that beneficial for anyone, bigger or?
Well, we used to think this was great for sliding in on your knees and stuff like this, but really you don't really want to be sliding in your knees when you're landing in parachute anyway, because you're going to bust yourself. Packing, it's good. I don't mind packing, and that's why the good thing about these suits, but is that they have no elbow pads. So some other suits have Cordura on the elbows and the knees. I honestly don't know why they put Cordura on the elbows. Maybe one of the suit manufacturers can tell you why, but I don't know why, because I'm not going to be.
But when you're lying down like this,
yeah,
the elbow. Everyone knows that. I'm fucking wearing this suit.
So these things are some things you really want to think about. Cool. So intruders are good, but the big thing, I prefer them not, but the pro about this one, does have a lot of the same material all over, but the fit of these generally isn't too good. If you are going to start off and you are going to be a bit of a bigger dude, maybe for AF, so you have a bit more range for, say, if you're quite a larger dude, and you need to go slower for jumping with students or smaller students, then these intruders can be quite good. But I wouldn't.
Notice this has a Velcro, and this one doesn't.
Good point. So this Velcro here, as you can see, Velcro wears out quick.
And there's, okay, yeah.
Well, so see how Helmy's struggling with that zipper a bit? That's another thing with these zippers, the old school zippers.
Good to do mechanic stuff.
Yeah, so think about the zippers, easy to do up and undo. So these zippers here, not too bad, but
that one's got a pocket in there or so.
The reason they have Velcro is sometimes the Velcro, because the suit's not fitted, the zippers can come down.
And it's a spandex.
Spandex, so it wears out quite quickly as well. And because it's not at the neck, doesn't go right up, air can inflate through here, and hence why that comes down. So to counteract that, they've put Velcro in. But as you can see, like
Maybe a button.
the Velcro wears out. Yeah, we got buttons on the other ones. So we're going over that one pretty quick. We also have the stirrups underneath, and these here, you can see the difference in the stirrups with this one compared to this one. So this one's Velcro, so with a bit more chunky. Okay, so the Velcro there, that's how it stops the air going up and inflating, whereas these guys put something that goes under your feet and your shoe goes over the top of this. So that's what's actually stopping this from going up, because it's baggy. So sometimes if you don't have that, it's going to go all the way up your leg and you end up with something flying like this. Okay, so that's where if it's down, you've got the stirrup under, the air inflates and it's not going to go anywhere, so it's hooked. But because of that, what happens is this can now inflate like a balloon, makes it harder to sit fly.
Well, these ones that say 15 years old, realistically.
Yeah, about 15 years old. So you want to pay anywhere from $50 to 150 for one of these. Yeah. But usually I just give them away, you know.
You ask someone.
Just give them away.
What are we? So we're getting better now.
So
with technology.
Phantom don't make them anymore, but these are kind of like the old Oregon suits. Okay. And now we can start seeing they've started steering a lot more to the same kind of material. Ooh, and we can see the upgrade in the collar. Yeah. Okay, still a bit of Velcro. So the new ones have buttons, as Helmy said, and the zippers are a lot better condition. You just stick your foot on that.
Oh, it's like a wet weather one, it looks like.
So yeah, the theory in these back in the day was to stop air coming through and inflating, and also have it so it's more slips. What do you call it? Slipstream. It's not the word.
Nice.
Yeah. So the air goes through and it doesn't go into the suit. Okay, so it's not causing the zipper to rattle down or something like this. But you can still see here. The zipper doesn't go all the way up, so what they did find sometimes, because of this gap here, that can still inflate and come down, whereas the suits we will show you later on, the zip goes actually under the collar, okay? So the thing with this material, you can see the material, similar material all the way over. The spandex is a lot more hard and more durable, okay? It's not as flimsy as the other one, so it's a lot more durable than the other one. Bit of rain starting now. Down near the legs,
no stirrups.
No stirrups at all.
Yeah.
So it looks like it's got a bit of Velcro here.
It was.
So it looks like as though, we'll look on that side.
It's modified.
So they've cut the Velcro off. So this one here, compared to having it open, that Velcro probably went like
a bell bottom.
This.
Old school flares.
Cool, but that's going to then, same thing, you're causing more drag, it's not slipstream, it's going to inflate, and it's not going to be as fitted. So they used to use these for VFS. They thought was more bag, more able to give you lift or more drag. Let's hope that rain doesn't inflate too much. So big thing here that we've seen is spandex in the crutch. So as I've said before, you want to try and have as least spandex as you can, because the more spandex you have, the more stretchy the suit's going to be, the more it's going to wear out. The same material, the better off you are. This one here actually has the better off because less wear. Now if we flip this over, you're going to see in the back we've got a bunch of spandex and we've got a bunch of elastic stuff. Okay, so this is for tunnel and plane, but for the tunnel, from what we found over time, this here wears out quite quickly, so because it is spandex as well. We've got Cordura on the bum. Okay, Cordura on the bum is going to make it a bit more difficult feeling for sit flying, but for sliding in on your ass, landing under the parachute, it's going to be make the suit last a little bit longer. But you can see now we have 3 stitch points between spandex, hard Cordura, and Nod Cordura. So these points will wear quicker because you have different materials flapping and causing different types of drag and different types of tension on these stitching. Another thing with the stitching, you want the stitching to kind of overlap and interlock. So let's open this suit up. Open that up for us. Have a look on the inside. Okay, so you can see these overlock stitching. I'm sorry, suit manufacturer guys, I'm not really perfect with my exact terminology, but this kind of stitching here is what you're looking for. You will have a lot less chance to have wear because the stitching is overlocked a lot more. With the stitching, with the overlocking, that's going to stop the suit from wearing out a lot more because it's going to create less of, like these parts here are a wear point. So stitching like this, if it's overlocked, it's okay, but that there, it will wear out a little bit more. All right, so you'll find on the other suits it won't. You want on the more advanced suits, it's not going to have as much of that. Now, if we go to the ton flies, so we are going through these a fair bit. Pretty in detail.
You can talk forever.
Yeah, we can. So,
but as the technology gets better,
we're going to see a big change.
Yeah.
What you can see here with these suits is the Cordura. They used to think this and call this power. Heaps of power on the legs. It's actually drag. It slows you down. It doesn't make you go faster or anything. So don't think of it as power. Please, people, stop saying power. It's drag. That's drag as well. And the biggest thing, unfortunately, Tonfly make excellent suits these days. Really, really, really great suits. So I'm going to pick them apart now because they're old ones. Slippery material, spandex, hardcore Cordura. That's where the biggest mistake was made, because you have such slippery stuff. Hardcore Cordura. This, when I learnt to fly in the wind tunnel, I had these exact suits. It made it so difficult to sit fly because this was catching so much drag, especially with the cuffs that they made. The air coming through inflated, and it was really difficult. So unfortunately, guys, I would not recommend these types of suits.
What about if I'm just starting out? I got 100 jump.
Actually, you know what? For angles they can work a bit, but for sit fly and for head down, you're just going to get so many different feelings. I honestly wouldn't. It's not uniform. It just makes it a lot harder to fly and to feel the wind, because you're getting so many different sensations, especially when we flip it over. Now we have all spandex, so I don't know if you can see this, but that there from here is all spandex.
It's going to be comfy.
So it's going to be comfy in the plane, but it's going to...
woolen.
Yeah, woolen. It's great job, but just overdone. So it's going to make it really all these different sensations, different material on the back, different material on the front, different material on the legs.
I think this one's for sale at the moment.
Yeah, done there. Sorry, Joe.
No, it's not him, Dan.
Sorry, Dan. So yeah, I'd steer away from these older Tonflies. The newer Tonflies are spectacular, which we're going to get to soon.
It's like a Long Island iced tea.
Yeah.
A little bit of vodka and gin and triple sec and tequila, and I don't know what the bloody hell they want. You just want to have a JD and Coke over here. just a simple one.
Makes it sweet.
Yeah, there's a lot
Here's
of
a beer.
options.
A lot of options. So not only Tonfly made these, Sonic made them as well. So did Deem. I think all the manufacturers went through a stage of making these. Okay. So the big point to take away from it, same material. Yeah. Now we start moving over to these guys. Now suit 1 and 2 are quite similar. So this is because of the material, as I was saying before. It's a bit more of a slippery material, so it is similar to what was on the belly of the Tonfly we just looked at, but it's all over. So that's the pro with these, is because they are all over, you're going to get a similar feeling to the wind and to the air that's going past you. You have a similar zipper here as well. You can see the zippers come right up. You can zip that one right up. Okay, and you can see the zipper is hidden by a little flap and a button. Okay, so zipper hidden, goes over, button. These are the newer model suits, so these are still about 5 or 6 years old, I'd say, if not a bit more, and that's going to stop the wind from coming down. These were predominantly made for tunnel suits, but definitely sky suits, so you can use these for sky for sure.
That's the crank.
That's a crank, Deem crank, Sonic V3. So great sky suit, great tunnel suit. They can be made a little bit baggy around here, so about a centimetre of bag is good. They can be made so they're super tight as well, but they do restrict you because they're not stretchy material and it's the really hard coarse one. It's going to restrict you a bit. Okay, so he's got no spandex in the balls, a little bit of spandex in the balls. Okay, I'd highly recommend either of these suits for intermediate to beginner flyers, even advanced flyers. I have one of these as well for winter, or if I'm just feeling like I'm being comfortable for the day. What you can see here between these two suits is the collars. Okay, they're the same, all right? So they go right all the way up. The material's pretty similar, so it's a bit more slippery, all right? They're great suits, really good ones. Cordura on the knees, I'd use them for the tunnel for sure, tunnel and sky. Bit of spandex on the, no spandex on the back there, bit around the collar over the back. And this one has absolutely nothing, pretty much. Okay, so what you're looking for here is just a general all-round fit. I'd highly recommend both of these ones. Now, if we move to the Boogeyman,
sorry to jump
Go on.
in.
Yeah.
One's black, one's white.
Yeah, you will
Want
find
to touch on that?
the different materials. Certain materials.
I'll get a white suit.
Yeah, certain materials do wear out a little bit quicker. Obviously, you're going to look at dirt and non-dirt, but I think it's kind of generally personal preference, to be honest. Okay. The big thing you're looking with these ones as well is going to be the
These ones are going to get obviously dirty.
Yeah, definitely going to get dirty. Is the stirrups. Okay, so they're both using stirrups.
Yep.
Both of this one here, the stirrups come straight from the bottom. Okay, and you can see, I don't know if you can, but this is a lot more flimsy, this one. I'm pretty sure the newer models have moved to something similar to this. Even zippers, which you may see later on some of the tight ones. So this here, because the stirrup does come from the top, it probably will wear out a bit quicker, whereas the stirrups on this one comes from down next to the joint of the suit, to the suit, and then around. So that's going to be a lot stronger than the other stirrups. Both great suits. I'd highly recommend these as a intro beginner suit, tunnel or sky.
First suit.
First suit.
Skydive and tunnel.
Excellent. Deem crank, Sonic V3. I'm not sure if Sonic's still going ahead, aren't they?
Not 100%.
Not 100% if they are, but if you get second hand, they're pretty good too. Over to Boogeyman ones. So the Boogeyman suits, you can see if we go to the collar straight away and the zip, we've already talked about these zips before, okay? I personally would try to get something similar. All these three have pretty much similar zips. These zips here themselves are my favorite ones, something like that, okay? So the air, we don't really care about the wind and stuff like that, because these ones here, from what I've found, they're a lot harder to fix compared to these. These I can fix them myself a lot easier. These ones I can't fix them as easy. But the main thing is the zips go all the way up to the collar, a little bit to come over the collar. This one here doesn't have a button, so if you're searching for them, get buttons. These manufacturers have changed over time, so don't just go, okay, that must be how that suit is. They do upgrade, they do change, so keep an eye on all that, okay?
Sounds like a stock one.
That's a stock one, I think, from back in the day. You will find there's a bit of spandex over the shoulder.
New stock.
The spandex can be a bit of a pain because it does wear, same all the way up the sides as well. That does become a wear point, and also air gets in there and inflates a lot more. So you really want a good fit with these, because if the air gets in, especially these ones here, if the air gets in these while you're carving and you don't have a rig on, you're learning in the tunnel, and the fit isn't too crash hot, especially the girls, it does inflate around the chest, and it can make it a lot more difficult to learn carving in the tunnel because of the suit itself is pulling you all over the place. Now, if you have a suit like this where it's not as inflatable, I guess, I don't know the word, what's the word? Where it's a bit more porous, it's going to allow the air to travel through. It's going to flap more than inflate like a balloon. So these suits here, spandex on the arms, that's because these were made a bit more tighter, so you could have a bit more flex. Also spandex on the inside of the elbow, so it's a bit more comfortable when you're creasing your elbow like this as well, so it didn't pinch as much. Great zipper, small bit of spandex on the back. The collar we'll see here, they've over-engineered that. So the button, because the zipper doesn't come all up onto the collar, they've made a button there, and this one comes over the top and a button there. So it will hug the neck a little bit more, but as I said, it's options. You can look at
the security.
Yeah, you can have a look at those. Just remember, buttons when they flap, they do hit and they do hurt sometimes. If we look down the bottom, okay, stirrups, they go from the inside, they're not on the bottom, so this may inflate. If it's tight, it probably won't inflate. This one here, that's the same. Okay, so if this bit's tight around your leg, it's probably going to be fine. If it's not, it could inflate. Now, vertical suits are very similar to these ones. They're great. I'd use all these for everything, really. Angles, static, dynamic. They're a good all-round suit. Really good all-round suit. Then we move to this one here, the Crux. This is a Dean one. It's the newest version of them. They come in standardized fits, so they aren't, they're not modified to fit you. These are all fitted suits, so you have to send your measurements in. These are kind of like a one size fits all, so you come in large, medium, small, all sorts of things like that, okay? Great for really big dudes, learning for static, VFS, Good for cold weather. That's why I got this one for cold, because it's like a spandexy kind of thing. Yeah, but not so.
It's like the whole thing is.
Whole thing is same material everywhere. I've slid on it. I've hit it on the net. They're really good for all round. Yeah, weight and wear is good. If you're flying with AF as well, for AF, it's good. It's a bit more range. But if you're a skinny person, I'd stay away from that. I'd get one of these that are a bit more fitted, but a little bit of bag on them. You can see the collar comes right up, just like I've been talking about, and we got a button on that. That's probably one of the newer suits out of all these ones. They all do modify and upgrade themselves. The back here as well, if we flip that over, we're going to see a different back compared to, say, these backs. So all these suits are the same. See, this one's a bit more fitted, and it's got spandex on the side, so that pulls that around, so it's quite comfortable on you. Compared to this one, you can see just a fitting here. Okay, so it's a bit more scrunched in, so that there may inflate a little bit, and that's why for skinny people, for me, I'm pretty skinny, but I wear that with a lot of clothing under it. That's my winter suit. My winter and my suit that I fly with first timers in the wind tunnel with. Great for coaching and stuff like that. So that's pretty much all the baggy ones.
I was about to say, maybe before you touch on the advanced suit, so what is it, summarise what we've just sort of gone through, meaning what I don't want and what I want.
Cool.
It's such a variety.
The main things that you really want to think about getting with a baggier or a medium fit suit is the same material everywhere.
Same material.
Cordura on the bum, that's sweet, that's fine. If you're going to land in, cool. If you're only doing maybe 1 or 2 hours tunnel, then Cordura on the bum's fine because your leg straps are going to go over it anyway. Steer away from as much different material, different spandex in areas. Think about the collar that goes up, so you can have the collar that stays with something that goes over, or it's got a button on it. That's important. Stirrups on the legs, stay away from Velcro. Velcro is bad, buttons are probably good. And stay away from any suit that says that it has power on the legs and the arms. Don't do that, okay? Old suits, you want to pay anywhere from $50 to 150. All these suits can be in the range from anywhere from $400 to $1,000. As I said, vertical suits, they're very similar to these ones, okay? They do make a tight suit as well. So great for VFS, great for dynamic. If you're getting into the sport, get this. Do not get one of the tight suits we start talking about soon. Get one of these type of suits if you're getting into the sport, and if you want something for an all-round suit, these are great. Cool. Get them fitted, not bag. Try not to get them unfitted. Let's move to the tunnel suits now. Or the tight suits, should we say. So,
You're going to get a tight suit, Mason.
Yeah, so tight suit, I really do not recommend getting a tight suit unless you have been flying in the tunnel for a very long time or in the sky, because it's just going to feel slippery and it's going to hinder your progression, I believe personally. Other coaches may say not. It's hard to put a number on it, hey. A lot of the time we use these for low speed or for competition. You can see there's a couple different designs here. This is a Boogeyman one. This is a Tonfly one. And this is a Deem one. Okay, so you'll see the Tonfly compared to their other suit that we looked at. This suit now has all the same material all the way over it. Doesn't even have Cordura here. Most of these will have knee pads built into them as well because it's for the tunnel. So if you're banging yourself on the wall, that can come on as an option. That also comes as an option on these other suits over here too, where you can get a knee pads in them, and you'll see here how they've taken the Cordura off the elbows as well. So this is more what I'm talking about for a tunnel suit. You can use these in the sky as well. A lot of people do use them in the sky, but I personally steer away from that. I use a Shorty or I use these. In the sky, these are a lot more breathable. The air goes through them a lot more, and they can be cold. And as I said, I don't like the cold. You'll see if we open these up, same material, both in and out. They don't have
This one's zippers and the pads.
They don't really have that netting on the inside, okay? So it's quite thin. It's to restrict as much drag so you can feel the air everywhere. You'll see a bunch of different zips we talked about before. Here, similar. and this one, not so much, okay?
So they're tight suits, but they're just stretchy suits.
Yeah, this one's
Say,
stretchy.
you know what they are.
Yeah, these ones are a bit more restrictive. So the reason we went to these suits compared to the bag has to do with drag. If you can hold that for us real quick, Helms. If I put this on, and I go and put this on, for example, so you can see similar. This was the theory around why we changed. So baggy, what's going to happen when the wind comes through, the wind's going to cause drag and it's going to cause a pulling sensation on your arm. So what happens when it causes a pulling sensation, it gives you the illusion that you can pull back on the wind, okay? Whereas this one, because there's nothing to pull, you feel more of a pushing sensation. So you can feel you can kind of push a little bit on the wind. The act of doing that is there's nothing to actually pull on. There's nothing to push on, but you get a different sensation on the air. So it actually causes you to fly differently. This one, because it's baggy, you can kind of feel the tension of how much drag you have and how much pressure you need to apply. Whereas this one, the arm will go straight through. So if you're used to wearing baggy all the time, then all of a sudden you put this one on, you're going to be feeling like there's nothing there. So it's going to be a lot harder. So the technique of flying becomes very different when you wear one of these. That's why it's better to step from a baggy suit like a student suit. It's going to be more this baggy compared to, say, a suit like this one, my old mate Ty's one. You can see this here is a bit tighter already, but it's still got a little bit of bag, okay? So they're the different stages as you go big, less. So this is going to have a little bit of pulling, but not heaps. You're still going to get a bit of pushing sensation. This one, you're going to get absolutely nothing. It's going to go straight through. So that's the same as this suit compared to these suits. Now the difference in these types of suits is going to come down to the material that's used.
A lot of technology.
Yeah, that's where a lot of technology comes in. So you'll find the material for a Deem suit, a Deem NG, compared to a Deem crank. A crank is going to be, not a crank, a RSX is going to be very similar to these. Now what they've done is they've made these stretchy, so they're four-way stretchy. So although these are tight and they feel like the same material as over here, they're actually stretchy material. Okay, this is actually stretchy material like this. This one's a two-way stretch, so it stretches one direction and not the other direction. This one's a four-way stretch, so it stretches this way and this way. And the reason that is because when the air hits it and inflates, you do get more of a even stretch and spread of the wind and spread of the suit compared to this one. Because it only stretches one way and not the other way, if the air hits in a certain direction, it's going to feel like it does inflate and cause restriction compared to similar to those suits over here, whereas this one's going to feel a bit more slippery. So that's where, if you are getting into it, you do want to be a bit more experienced because you can feel the different sensations. Whereas when you're first getting into skydiving, it can hinder you a fair bit. Now you'll see here with the zippers, they put these zippers on so it's tight, so you can actually have it fitted to your arm. Okay, so you can see the shape there compared to the shape that we've talked about earlier on with the old school original suits. And you can see this is a lot more fitted. This one here is more no zip, okay? Got a little bit of the old cuff as well. So that will wear out a little bit quicker than this, but you also have a wear point on here too. Okay, you can see the elbow pads, all right? So they're not Cordura, a bit more slippery. This one has a different material. This one has the same material. They put the elbow pad on the inside and the material over the outside. This one they put the elbow pad on the outside and a bit of rougher stuff. I did hit my elbows a lot in the tunnel, so elbow pads can be quite good. These ones I've opted to get no elbow pads, and I also have no zip in them as well, but that can also inflate a lot more over time from wear and tear, hence why these guys have decided to get zippers on the bottom here, so there's a little bit less wear and tear. Some, as you can see, have buttons that go over, others don't have buttons, they have little, they go over. Personal preference. I don't like buttons because if a button comes loose and it hits my ankle, I'm a little girl. These guys, they don't have as much. No buttons on here. I'll deal with the wear tear. Okay, so you can see a little bit of spandex in here, so different material. Is that material? No, it's same material. Same material all over. All right, so that's what we're looking for here. Same material. These ones are extremely fitted. If you're beginning, don't get one of these. If you intend to do VFS, I would suggest, unless you have a lot of time, don't get one of these, okay? Steer away from it. Go for more one of these ones if you're doing a bit more static. They do work for it, but it is going to be a lot harder to fly them. They are going to be a bit more expensive, and you should have done a fair bit of tunnel before you get that. That's the big thing of when people go, should I get a tight suit? Why should I get a tight suit? Vice versa, all these kind of things. We wear these because it's a bit more high-speed dynamic flying rather than static flying. Okay, so all the same, I'm going to move on to the Shorties. So we only have 2 ranges of Shorties here. We have the Deem Shorties. Many variations of Shorties are out there. These are just, I don't have any other designs other than Deem here, unfortunately, at this stage. These are different than the other ones. The other suits, the other Shorties are a bit more open like that, but I'll talk about these at first. These ones come down to the knees. They go over the knees like this. Okay, I might put the suits on later on just to stand there and have a quick demo in them all. No drag. That's the fit of this one. Experienced suit, I would not wear this if I was a beginner. Intermediate to experienced, great. Static, you're going to find it difficult. Yeah, vertical, can be iffy if you're not experienced. Put it all the way up, just a microphone. But still nice fitted around the chest, around the back, got a bit of bag. Okay, so good all-rounder. You can put wind stuff under it, all sorts of things like that. Same material everywhere. You can see this is a lot tighter. I'm not going to do that up again as well. It's a lot more fitted. Purely tunnel suits, these ones. Okay, that's the difference between the other one. You could see the baggy one compared to this, a lot more fitted. Okay, even all over, same material. Great suits. Okay, so you can see what I mean here. So it's a little bit of bag around here. The legs are probably a little bit too baggy, I would say, but it's pretty even all the way around. This is the kind of fit you're looking at if you're just getting into jumping. Probably say a little bit less on the legs, but it's not going to matter too much. Okay, so great first time suit fit, intermediate, beginner, whatever. They're above the shoulder, and they are essentially one of these suits just with the arms chopped off. Okay, it's just one of them with the arms chopped. I love these. These are great for experienced people to fly. If you're going to do a shorty jump and you're just quite beginning, I would probably go towards more of, see, the pants. So it's very similar to just board shorts. But a lot of the suit companies, Tonfly, Vertical, Boogeyman, even Deem, they all make a version of these with a baggy version of the shorts attached. That's really good for summer. It airs really nice. They actually air really good too. So all the shorties are great. I would honestly prefer to jump in a purpose-made suit rather than t-shirt and shorts. And this is something Helmy brought up before, was should he go jumping in one of these? So the reason that I wouldn't go, you can, but the reason that I don't go in one of these is because of the handles. The suits and the shirt can go inflate up and they pull up over your, oh nice, look at that. They pull up over your handles and it makes it a lot more difficult to grab your handles in case you do have a chop. So that's why I do always prefer to jump in a shorty suit.
And it's the material.
And it's the material as well. Same thing as we've been, exactly.
I'm pretty much flying in a tight suit when I go up in boardies and that, and then here I am asking how do I fly head up or head down, and it's not working what you told me, but you're standing there in shorts and a shirt or jeans and a shirt. Yes.
Yeah, dress for success. So really try to jump with the same material around. And he made a good point. You have pants, t-shirt and skin, all different material. Tight shirt, baggy pants. Yeah, we want that same kind of material all over. There is a big trend these days to go up and jump in t-shirt and shorts. A lot of experienced people do it because they get away with it, but really try and steer away from it as much as you can. Dress for success, jump with the same material all over. These swoop shorts are great if you're swooping. Obviously that's a different story because
that's just this. It's the same material, but in the shorts with the Cordura.
Yeah, so sliding on your bum.
You can have bloody the pockets with the RDS shit on the side and whatnot. This is the latest one from Dean. It is gangster. It is awesome. Has a beautiful zipper pocket. Put your phone or your hook knife, whatever you do. Carry a hook knife, guys.
Yeah, carry hook knife always.
Comfort, you know. I'm just wearing shorts, boardies. I lost a heap of weight. I had to tape them in. Sorry about that.
So big thing with these shorts, if you do want the option to get shorts, get purpose-made shorts. Okay, swoop shorts or something like this, because the reason is they actually have them fitted so they go over. You can tuck your shirt into your pants, and that way, once your shirt's tucked into your pants, you're going to have a lot less likelihood of this shirt coming up and going over your handles. You can also have a wings jacket.
Like you can't even buy these. This one's from Dean, but there are many different camera jackets. It's a jacket, it's a wingsuit, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
It's a camera jacket. There's so many different variable ones. You know, if you're filming tandems or flat, but you've just got a lot more range, eh? It's like a mini type of wingsuit thing where you're just going to be able to fly in your belly and you're going to be able to zoom away and then come back. This is a jacket. There's purpose-built suits, like a rail suit with wings. That's just going to give you a whole other heap of range and whatnot. There's many different variable bloody clips and whatnot.
If you're going to jump one of these, make sure you get a brief.
Camera jacket that is here. Yeah, exactly what Mason just said.
Because your emergency procedures might be different, or you might have to take into consideration different things.
They're awesome to go and film. If you stuff up, you can always get back quicker, and you can fly in them and whatnot. That's a camera jacket.
So the main thing about the shorties that you want to think about is, as much as you can, same material all the way over. Thinking about your handles, okay. If you're going to wear shorts, make sure you can tuck your shirt in, get that stuff all sorted, and
you can get one of them in a shorty too.
Yeah.
So you can get that design, but in a shorty. So if I don't want the tight blah 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 material, I can go for that, and it's a shorty, so it's good for summer up north.
Yep. Get your old suits, chop into a shorty. They go good.
A little bit bigger. Put a jumper on underneath. Think about them sorts of things.
So yeah, guys, hope you enjoyed the information on suits. If you have any questions, stick them below. And yeah, I hope we're not too biased. So enjoy. There you go, Helms.